echu akuwa member.
Nyendagia mboga na matunda na ndĩ member.
I'm a school director and I'm a member.
Mimi ni mfanyabiashara wa matrela na mimi ni member.
I'm a student and I'm a member.
I am a university professor and I am a member.
Numba Mabisa na ni member.
I'm a marketing director and I'm a member.
Ajagi
Prakitale na ni member.
Mimi ni mkazi wa Mombasa na mimi ni member.
Inte inkurwa kisi na endene member.
Wito nenyiri na the member. Ato nonji ni cha echu akuwa member.
Nyendagia mboga na matunda na ndĩ member.
I'm a school director and I'm a member.
Mimi ni mfanyabiashara wa matrela na mimi ni member.
I'm a student and I'm a member.
I am a university professor and I am a member.
Numba Mabisa na ni member.
I'm a marketing director and
Our dear shareholders, welcome. In front of you is the head office operations team, ready to present a skit on our inspiration and also on our equity anthem. Karibuni, and I hope you are going to enjoy.
When we
atononji ni chaichu akuwa member.
Nyendagia mboga na matunda na ndi mu member.
I'm a school director.
Let's give them
and I'm
another
a member.
hand. Thank you very much for that anthem. I shall now take this opportunity to introduce the directors and professional advisors of the company present. I'll start by introducing the directors of the holding company. And I'll start from my immediate left and introduce to you Dr. James Mwangi, who is also the Chief Executive of the bank. Thank you. Give him a warm hand. I'll introduce to you also our former company secretary, who has now been appointed as the executive director of the company. In other words, is the outgoing company secretary of the company, Mrs. Mary Wamai. I'll now take this opportunity also to introduce to you Helen Gishohi, Dr. Helen Gishohi, who is also a director of the holding company. I will also introduce to you Mr. Deepak Malik, who is also a director and representing one of the investors who holds a substantial shareholding in the company. Thank you. I'll introduce to you Dr. Professor Isaac Macharia Mudhure, who is also a director of the holding company. Last but not least, I introduce to you Mr. Gidmore, who is a director of the company. Mr. Gidmore is also the managing director of Khan General. After the holding company, I'll introduce to you the directors of Kenya Equity Bank subsidiary, shared by Dr. Professor Isaac Macharia. I'll ask him to stand again. The other director is no other than Dr. James Mwangi. I will introduce to you also other director, and this is one executive director, is the Chief Operational Officer, Mr. Patish Shah, sitting down there. One of our oldest, long-serving, not the oldest, long-serving director is Frederick Mwangi Mushoki. Professor Migot has also been with us as a director for the last 9 years. Mary Wamai is also a director in the Kenya subsidiary. If she doesn't mind, I'll ask her to stand. Your company has really grown because we have a similar setup in Uganda for Uganda subsidiary, which is now being managed by Samuel Kerobe. I'll ask the directors to stand and wave at the investors, the esteemed. There they are. Those are the directors of Uganda Equity Bank. The directors of, I will request the directors of South Sudan, whose chairman is Professor Migot, to stand and wave to our distinguished investors. I will request the directors of Rwanda Equity Bank to stand and wave to our esteemed investors. I will similarly request the directors of Equity Bank Tanzania to stand and wave to our esteemed investors. I will now request the directors of Equity Bank DRC to stand and wave at our district investors. I'll now request the directors of Group Foundation, the directors of the Group Foundation to stand and wave to our esteemed directors. I will request the directors of FinSouth Africa Limited Board to stand and wave to our esteemed directors. I shall now request the directors of Equity Investment Bank to stand and wave to our esteemed investors. Directors, please. Thank you. Having introduced all the directors of our subsidiaries and our holding company, I will now introduce to you the professional advisors who have given us their services during the year under review. And these are the external auditors, PricewaterhouseCoopers, presented here by Mr. Brian Gojiri. There they are, please give them up. And Richard. Thank you. I did inform you that our company secretary, our former company secretary, has now been appointed to the position of executive director, and that's Mary Wangari. She has, in her place, it has been given to Christine Brown, who I would like to introduce to you. Please give her a warm hand. Having done all the introductions, our esteemed shareholders, I would like to confirm from the secretary whether or not we have a quorum. Company secretary.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, and members. I do confirm under section Article 58 of the company's articles of association, that we do have a quorum for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That being the case, I'll request you, the company secretary, to read the notice convening this meeting.
Mr. Chairman and members, the notice is on page 8 and page 9, which is contained in the integrated annual report. I believe you all have a copy. And I would request the meeting that we take the notice set out in page 8 and page 9 of that booklet as read. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll now go to item 2 of the agenda, to receive, consider, and if found fit, adopt the integrated report, audited financial statement, and the director's remuneration report for the year ended that 1st December 2017, together with the chairman's, directors, and the auditors' report therein. Having done that, if you allowed me, I shall request the managing director to give us a presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, esteemed shareholders. With you is a copy of the audited accounts for the year 2017, but I want to take this opportunity to give you a very bridged fashion so that we can just look at the numbers and graphically present them so that we can know the state and health of our bank. And maybe I will ask Alex to put on the slides the investors' briefing presentation. Thank you very much, Alex. If you can make it full screen, Alex, it will look much better. So this ideally is the presentation that we have bridged to give you insights as to the performance of the group. The group is made of all the companies that we saw directors this morning, and they're the ones who have produced the numbers that I will talk about. But before we talk about the numbers, we look at how the microeconomic environment was, and we saw we were operating at a very difficult environment where inflation has reached range of 12%, while interest rate that we were charging was 14%, meaning that basically the effective interest rate was only 2% when inflation was at 12%. When we look at the country's foreign exchange, we see stability, and that explains why the foreign exchange, the Kenya exchange rate to the dollar remained stable throughout the year. That was driven by reserves, and we can see the country was able to meet the reserves, the import recommended reserves of 4 months of import throughout the year. And we see the foreign reserves continue to increase, driven principally by diaspora remittances. And that is why there was stability in exchange rate. But when we go to our core business, we see lending to the private sector was significantly impaired, reducing from a growth rate of 22% all the way to 2%. And that speaks to the interest capping that the banking industry had to endure. Interest capping dictated the risks that the banks would take. And because the risk was priced at the same rate as the sovereign risk broadly, that is why private sector lending shrank significantly. The country's GDP current account was not balanced, and we had a deficit reaching negative 6% of the GDP of the country. But the country continued to be very resilient despite electioneering period, and we see the only 2 seasons that we had tourism numbers declining was only when we held the elections, initially in August, and then repeat elections in October. So those were. But we see the environment continuing to improve. We are very optimistic that the challenges that characterized year 2017 are coming closer to an end. Not necessarily eliminating all the challenges. We expect to continue to have challenges in the fragile states of South Sudan and DRC. Interest rate capping is still with us, but we are optimistic that the lifting of tariff sanctions by the US and the rest of the international community will see a boost of our tourism industry. We see the confidence of Kenya Airways flying directly to the US, most likely will boost our export, particularly of cut flowers and horticulture. We see IMF sponsored economic reforms, including making the interest rates being a base of hope that the operating environment will be improved. We see that we'll have a year 2018 without any expected elections within the East African region, and hence reduced political temperatures within the whole region. And we are seeing an end of drought, and we are optimistic that the focus, particularly in Kenya on the Big Four, will give us opportunities of operations. And of course, the big one for us, operating in 6 countries, is the proposed African Continental Free Trade Area. We see that as enhancing our ability to operate within the 6 countries that we are represented. The equity business model, because of the challenges we experienced, particularly of interest capping, we focused beyond the traditional lending, and we focused on non-funded income, we focused on treasury operations, we focused on our subsidiaries within the 6 countries. We focused on the strength of the bank by looking at the balance sheet, the asset quality, and we became very, very innovative, particularly on the area of digitization. And then we went on a cost control spree. And when we look at the bank at the end of the year, that is where the greatest reward came from. When we lost significantly about 10 billion shillings on interest income, we regained much of it from non-funded income and growth of incomes from the subsidiaries. We saw the non-funded income coming from a myriad of operations. It's not one. So whether it's from Forex, whether it's salary remittance, whether it's mobile banking, whether it's merchant banking, whether it's trade finance, and we expect to be able to sustain these, and this gives us hope that we shall continue to deliver good performance years to come. Look at merchant banking, we did pretty well. We're now doing maybe 50% of all merchant banking in Kenya. And when you look at Treasury, this is a department that really deals with the marketplace, and Treasury department improved significantly and was a major growth area. But the best performance came from our subsidiaries, and we see Uganda increasing its profit during the year by 81%, DRC Congo increasing its profitability by 63%, Rwanda increasing its profitability by 80%. Tanzania had just gone through the elections like us, 17%. And South Sudan, which we had put on maintenance, also improving by 121. So between the subsidiaries, they increased their profitability by 126%. And that explains that in spite of the turbulence we had in Kenya, we could leverage on the performance of our subsidiaries. We also strengthened the bank substantially, and we see the bank emerged very strong with liquidity of 54% by the end of the year. And we can see how that is split with the deposit contributing 71% of the liability side. But most important was the quality of the loan book. While the industry had non-performing loans of 10.6%, we were able to maintain our non-performing loan at 6.3%, an improvement while the rest of the banking industry was deteriorating. So I want to take this opportunity to really commend the management and staff for very good effort in a very difficult year. And we can see those non-performing loans, they improved their coverage from 64 to 69 through provision. So a very conservative approach. And then innovations, we have now seen that banking is no longer the place you go to. It's what you do on your phone. It's what you do at the agency. It's what you do on your computer. We have digitized banking. Now, I'm happy to say 97% of all transactions are now happening outside the branch. So the branch has been retained as a sales outlet as opposed to as transaction. And we can see the movement. I want to applaud the Equitel team, and we can see either on Equitel or the mobile app. And Kenyans have become very innovative, particularly in use of channels. And that explains why the bank has kept on moving. We also saw massive innovations in diaspora. And during the year, we managed to process 30 billion Kenya shillings of diaspora remittances, up from 13 billion shillings the previous year. Again, these are the innovations that continue to provide. And we continue to perform very well with national money transfer through Equitel and also e-commerce throughout the year. So we're battling it out. The agency network continued to do well. And we can see, like the month of December, agents handled 36 billion shillings of deposits and 15 billion shillings of withdrawals. So the bulk of our cash transactions is now happening at the agency level. and the innovations have continued to pay. And that explains why we are able to reduce significantly our cost of operations and maintain our cost-income ratio despite losing 10 billion shillings in interest income as a result of interest capping. And most commendable was, yes, we reduced the interest margin from 11% to 8%, a loss of 300 basis points, but we were able to maintain our cost of funds and hence also maintain a decent yield of 11%, down from 13%. That decline explains the 4% decline in interest yields, explains the interest capping. We continue to do good in society, and I'm happy to announce that the Wings to Fly program have now sponsored 15,168 children. And we have now 15,000 kids, 9 of them still in secondary school, and approximately 6,000 have managed to graduate to university. And we have a transition rate averaging 80%. So for every 10 Wings to Fly kids we take to secondary school, 8 of them are successfully able to enter university. We continue to work on university scholarships, and now we have nearly 11,000 students in our universities, 6,000 of them being the Wings to Fly scholars, and the other 4,000 being the best boy and the best girl in every district that we operate in. We continue to support our small businesses, and over the last 3 years, we have trained 1.5 million of our micro-entrepreneurs to become better in managing their businesses, because the success of equity is determined by the success of our businesses. We have trained 36,000 on entrepreneurship, and we continue to support farmers, and I'm happy to say we have managed to convert 600,000 peasant farmers into small agribusinesses, and we are now supporting 2,600 medium and large-scale farms, and creating clusters around them. We strongly believe agriculture holds a lot of sway in the transformation of this country, and we are glad that agriculture is one of the big four. Our business continue to enjoy very high credit rating and Moody's rating. We enjoy the sovereign rating, and equity is as good an investment grade as the Kenya government. So depositing money with the Equity Bank for a fixed deposit or buying treasury bills, the risk is rated to be the same by Moody's. The same has been repeated by Global Credit Rating. And achieving this type of rating at a time that we said the environment is challenging is not a small feast. But we are very happy to see that we continue to improve globally. We managed to move over a period of 4 years. We have moved from being number 999 largest bank on earth to number 800. But what is most important to notice is that we are now rated the 37th most solid bank on earth. We may not be big as maybe Chinese banks or American banks, because they are serving 1.4 billion people if you're in China, 1.3 billion people if you're in India, or 350 million if you're in America. But despite that, we are now rated the 37th most solid bank on earth. In terms of return, because this is what is central to shareholders, we are the 11th best bank on earth in terms of return on assets. And when you compare return on capital, we are rated the 45th best bank. And we believe now with our subsidiaries all making a profit, we'll continue to improve our ranking globally. And we hope we'll be in the top 10 banks going forward. We continue to hold very high recognition, being rated the Africa's best bank by Euromoney, the African Banker, best retail bank, best digital bank, best CL bank. And back here at home, we continue to enjoy #1 rating in almost every entry that we make. And for 11 years, we continue to be rated the banking super brand in the East African region. So the brand, this is the most interesting slide of the slides I've shown, a customer's preference. And Equity stands as the most preferred bank in Africa, the only bank that has a preference of 40% of the population of a country. So when you compare across the African continent, Equity stands out as the bank that enjoys the highest customer preference, whether you are comparing Kenya, Nigeria, or South Africa. And it's something that hopefully will continue to push on. We have continued to have consistent growth. And last year, we were able to add an additional 1 million customers to end up with 12.1 million customers. This is an area that we hope will continue to grow. These are not mobile accounts. These are more bank accounts that may have been linked to a mobile channel, but they are not mobile wallets. And I'm happy to say the market has recognized Equity very, very well. As at 21st of March, when these slides were prepared, Equity had a market valuation of 200 billion shillings, followed by the second largest bank with only 156 billion, meaning we are 44 billion shillings bigger than the second largest bank in East and Central Africa. And this is something that we want to really attribute to the shareholders for the confidence they have shown in their investment. This really reflects the way the market perceives Equity Bank, and it's perceived to be the most valuable company. I'm also happy to say over the last 2 months, we have overtaken East African breweries now to be ranked the second largest company in the Nairobi Stock Exchange. So the bank continues because of performance to be. Let's talk about numbers, because numbers have no emotions. As we saw, our loans grew by only 5%, government securities by 27%. The total balance sheet of the bank grew by 11%, heavily driven by customers' deposits, which also grew by 11%. And we reached a total asset base of 524 billion shillings, or slightly over ½ trillion Kenya shillings. This balance sheet of 524 trillion is equal to 8.7% of the GDP of Kenya, or 22% of the budget of the Republic of Kenya. So the balance sheet of Equity Group has continued to grow. And if we sustain the same momentum, if the subsidiaries reach the size of Kenya, then we will be headed to 1 trillion shillings before too long. In terms of profitability, I'm happy to say, despite the huge challenge where we lost interest income down 7%, while interest expense were up 8%, we focused on non-funded income, which grew by 24%. And so total income grew by 2%. And then we reduced our operating expenses, particularly in management of loans. We reduced provisions despite increasing coverage. And our total costs were down 2%, creating a profit before tax of 8% and profit after tax of 14%, ranking us the only bank of the top 10 banks that was able to increase profitability in Kenya during the year 2017. And we're very, very proud that in a year that no big bank was able to improve its performance, we were able to improve our performance by 14%. And the ratios of the bank continues to be strong. The bank continues to meet all the cash ratios. The bank remains very well funded, and we can continue to support the growth of the bank without coming back to you as shareholders for more capital. So if we continue with a dividend payout of 40% of available, we should be able to continue to fund the bank and its growth within the region, where we have seen significant improvement in the growth of the bank. The outlook for 2018, we think we'll have a better year, 2018, than 2017, the most difficult and most challenging year to operate in. And the outlook, as a result, suggests that we'll continue with a growth trajectory, improvement on return on equity, hopefully more from 21% last year to about 25% this year, and return of assets from 3.8 to 4.5%. So you can count on us to do our very, very best. As you saw from our staff from head office, we are all inspired by the opportunities we have been given. You saw the passion, and we believe in what we do. And that is why we have composed that song that we sang for you about the pride we have of this bank and the role that this bank is playing in society. It fulfills us to see, for instance, the wings to fly. It fulfills us to see the thousands of jobs that Equity Bank continues to provide to our people. But more importantly, the 12 million people that Equity continues to provide a safe, secure place for their money, a place they can trust and sleep peacefully, knowing that even tomorrow their money will be safe, irrespective of how challenging the banking environment would be. I want to call, with the permission of the chairman, the auditors, because they went through the numbers. I've broken the numbers that are in this booklet into a few slides, and maybe Richard may comment on the position Pricewaterhouse took. After many years of being audited by Ernst & Young, this was our first year. We complied with rotation, like the way directors do rotate, to rotate the auditors. And this is the first year we are having Pricewaterhouse auditing the bank after a spell of nearly 20 years. When I joined the bank, it was Pricewaterhouse, and now through rotation, they are bank. I want to say we had a good experience, very rigorous, very thorough, but professionally done. Richard.
Thank you, Dr. Mwangi. Good morning, shareholders. I confirm that we have carried out an audit of the financial statements of the Equity Group Holdings PLC and its subsidiaries, and have issued a clean audit opinion which is contained on pages 89 to 93 of the booklet, for those ones who have the big booklet. The opinion runs into several pages, so I'm not going to read the whole opinion. I'll just read the opinion paragraph. We have audited the accompanying financial statements of Equity Group Holdings PLC and its subsidiaries set out on pages 94 to 181, which comprise the consolidated statement of financial position at 31st December 2017 and the consolidated statements of profit or loss, other comprehensive income, changes in equity, and cash flows for the year then ended, together with a separate financial position of the company at 31st December 2017 and the statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, changes in equity and cash flows of the company for the year then ended, and the notes to the financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of the group and of the company at 31st December 2017 and of their financial performance and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with international financial reporting standards and the requirements of the Kenyan Companies Act 2015. A report on other matters prescribed by the Kenyan Companies Act, a report of the directors. In our opinion, the information given in the director's report on pages 83 to 84 is consistent with the financial statements. And on the director's remuneration report, in our opinion, the auditable part of the director's remuneration report on pages 85 to 87 has been prepared in accordance with the Kenyan Companies Act 2015. The engagement partner responsible for the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is FCPA Richard Njoroge, practicing certificate number 1244, signed PricewaterhouseCoopers, 29th March 2018.
Thank you very much, Pricewaterhouse. Esteemed investors, I will now ask the meeting to confirm by show of hands that the report, the chairman's report on page 11 to 13, and the report of the directors on page 83 to 84 of the integrated report and financial statement is taken as read by show of hands. Can I see your hands? Thank you very much. Those two reports have been led. I'll now come to you again and allow a few questions to the accounts as we received them in item 2 of the agenda. Can I now ask you, the esteemed investors, to raise any question related to the accounts and the performance as explained by Dr. James Mwangi. Yes. Please.
Thank you.
Please start by saying your name.
But do you hear me, Doctor? Do you hear me?
No. Yes, I do.
Ah.
Yes, I do.
Dr. Chairman, Dr. CEO, members of the board of Equity Holdings, and other members from our subsidiaries, again put aside, and we go on with our normal business. That's the second question, Doctor. Third, let me compliment on the election of our strategy and former company secretary to the higher position of executive director. That one, in fact, is very fitting because since we started this company, this bank, and that effort and that innovation, and that lady is not left behind. She was the only lady there. So it is good that the board of whatever has made her our executive director. And also let me add, in her office is very good. Because when you elect base director, that secretary is called Emma. When you call that secretary, it's very good. Perhaps when you call her, can you also raise something? And other people, they are many levels. So those few, there are many shareholders who listen to what we want to say. We cannot live there and get just a small foundation from our doctor, CEO, or whatever. Thank you very much. Thank you, distinguished shareholders. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, distinguished, esteemed investor. Can I have another one so that we can take a few other questions? Yeah, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for remaining to the votes. My name is Kimoto, and I want to thank my fellow shareholder, Chami, thank the board and the director and the management for the excellent work in the year 2017. I know that the conditions were very tough, but being the only bank to have increased their profit by 14%, with all the listed and the non-listed, I think you need a and all the other things that the CEO has explained to us there, I think that is excellent. We are very happy, especially myself, and I think you will continue to do well. Now, I have several issues which I want to mention and to ask, and maybe I'll sit down and allow others to ask. And one is the elephant in the room, which is the interest rate cap. And the CEO has explained to us the effect that it had, but I think the interest rate cap, on the other hand, it was a blessing in disguise for the Equity Bank, because I think it opened your eyes and you looked at the other channels, and because of the other channels, even with the reduction of the interest rate, we were able even to increase our profitability. But my question is, I know that we operated full year with this capping of interest rate. Should it not be removed? Because we heard what the MPs were saying, and we also see what they said, very bad things about the bank, that you want to join together with the CBK and the others to push so that you can raise the interest rates to the percentage that you want. But suppose it is not removed, I'm sure you will do better. I want to note that, because you have done better even without. But do you think that we can go any deeper than where we are today? Should it not be removed? Number two, there is this issue of IFRS 9, International Financial Reporting Standard 9, which many of us maybe don't understand, and maybe a few understand. And you have said from your statement that it will have an impact of reducing the core capital from 19.5 to 17.8% when it will come now to be applied. Now my question is, do you think going forward, or as we continue with this other and they might bring another one, that there may be a time will come when you will need the shareholders to come in and pump in more capital so that your bank can be as stable as it is. I know you have strong shocks. I have no doubt about that. I know the capital is very strong. But these standards that are coming along the way, maybe in one way or the other, it will come and affect us. Number 3, and the last one, is you have said that 94% of all the transactions of the bank, of the group are done outside the bank. And that is very, very, very good. Because my mother in the village and my grandmother in the village can be able even to reach her money from her phone. But now the question is, you had branches all over, and you have said that those branches will remain as the sales center. Does the income which is going to be generated from those sales centers versus the cost, vis-a-vis the costs of maintaining those branches commensurate? Or you will be forced in one way or the other. You see, maybe the cost of maintaining a certain branch is not commensurate with the income which is coming from that area, and you may be forced maybe to retrenchment, because where technology comes, of course, it goes with some stuff. Maybe retrenchment, or maybe closing some of the branches. And also, I can see when you come to the issue of renting that there are some sectors which you have completely ignored, maybe because of the risk that you have said. But now, suppose this thing is not removed. Does it mean that the Wanjiko who started with you at Equity Bank, that Mama Mboga, that Mama Majani or somebody, because maybe the risk is high of repaying and the interest rate is not removed, the interest rate cap, does it mean that those people who their risk of repayment of loan is high, you forget them forever? Because the interest might be there forever. Or what is your strategy that will make those people who have grown up with you, those people, the Gekomba people and everybody, continue to have faith in Equity because they started with you, we have come to this far, but now those are the people, or we are the people, the Wanjikos, that the bank is trying maybe to avoid lending because of the risk involved anyway. Although I know whatever you lend is not your money, it's deposited as money. And then, Equitel, from 65% in 2016 to 54% in 2017. And I think that is the one which is the most efficient. What is happening? Are people lacking faith on Equitel? That is on the pie chart, page 49, and you have explained it there. Or what is happening, that they have continued reducing using it. So with those many, thank you very much. And I hope that as you continue to make a lot of money, you will please remember these shareholders. If you have made 5 shillings, Dr. CEO, with your hard work, I think it was only fair if you could have added 50 cents. At least to go on and a katikati. You remain with 250, you give us 250. So when you make more money, because I know you will make more money, please, if your dividend policy is 40%, make it 50. Tugawane na katikati, wewe uende na nusu ama ubaki na nusu, na sisi utupee nusu ndio tuweze kukusupport. So thank you very much, and may God bless Equity Bank.
I'll take one more question before.
Here, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please.
Yeah, shall I continue?
Please.
Thank you. First is to commend the board for the well done of this company. We have never went this far since we started. There is a few comments I have like to before questions. Is about the dividend. According to what you have said, that the dividend will be paid on 31st May. I would like to suggest that whatever you did last year and the last year but one, do that. Because when we were here last year, we at the AGM, at 2 p.m. I had my money in the bank. So I would like you to set that money after this meeting so that we can go and pay school fees. Then I suggested about this venue, Mr. Chairman and Mr. CEO. I suggest this venue is not good for most of us. Either we go to Safari Park where there is flat, or you book the Savo Ballroom area. We don't like just see who they are up. If there is an elderly man going there, amechoka zaidi. So next year, mimi najua mnaelewa vile mimi namwambia na mashahudas wale wengine vile wanawamwambia, I suggest you change this venue. Another comment is about the on Sundays, where I stay in Makongeni Thika. The ATMs at around 12 noon onwards, they are empty. I don't know, when I like to say to withdraw money, there is nothing there. So look at what is happening in Makongeni. I will come to the question I asked last year, and I thank my friend Warui called me about the issue I raised about the organized crime when a customer is withdrawing money, and then there is somebody inside or outside. When somebody is withdrawing money, he is being cornered by people, and he has been escorted to a vehicle, and that person amenyang'anywa pesa. So look at your security gadgets. Let's come to the questions. I requested last year that we change the auditors. You have done that, and thank you for doing that. Now, I request the board to change the registrars. If you are the registrars, now it's the time to change. I want you either to go to the image registrars and give them that job. And another question is about the director's remuneration. There, I want to suggest that you have you have done good work, because you have disclosed what a director gets. That's a good opinion you have made to us. A question about the retained earnings. It is almost 79 billion that is in retained earnings. Since 2010, we have not get the split. There is a room for split. There is a room to give a special dividend. And then, there is a room to increase the dividend payout. There is a lot of money that is still there. 79 billion, although you are the largest company who has a lot of money in retained earnings. I don't know if you know. Your competitor has 60 billion. You have 79 billion. So, if you create a special dividend, well, we will be very happy as shareholders. The final one is to thank you for making our customers not to go to the banks. Now, if you go to the bank, there is no lines, except for those who are in groups, either in self-help group or paying school fees. Now, the agency banking imeingia mpaka kule mashinani vizuri. In my phone, now I have the Equitel line for almost 4 years now. It is working well. And I thank you because when I want to, I have never visited the bank except going to change my ATM. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and continue to work in better, like what you have generated in Congo. Congo, you went there last year, but one, and now it is improving. Thank you.
Well, I will now request Dr. Mwangi to respond to the few observations that have been made.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, to our esteemed shareholders for excellent questions. Starting with question one from Mr. Chami. Thank you, Mr. Chami, for leading. As I followed page 6, 54, 55 to 15, shows you have gone page by page because you could really see the numbers, all of them throughout. The question about what will be our strategy in business for 2018, I don't know, Alex, whether you could project the forecast for 2018. 2018, as we said, we emerged from a very tough operating environment much stronger. As we saw, our liquidity as we closed the year was 54%, suggesting that we have enormous capability to be able to grow the loan book. And as you can see, we are projecting to grow our loan book from what it was last year, 5%, to between 10 and 15%. And Mr. Kimodo, you can see we are not going to abandon Wajiko. Eke the bird says, when the hunter learns how to shoot without missing, Eke the bird learns how to fly without patching. We will learn how to lead with very constrained interest rates, and we project that we'll continue to grow loan book. As you see deposit growth, we have proposed that we'll be very ambitious and see whether we can grow deposit by up to 15%. And going down in, as we see cost-income ratio, we are proposing we'll be able to reduce our cost-income ratio from 53% to 48%. Would really like to work towards 48%. And so it is a mix of growing business and controlling the cost as much as possible, and then focusing on other income. So we believe that we shall give you a much better year in 2018. I'm backing on the managing directors of the subsidiaries, and I'm really happy to see, Mr. Kimani, you have identified DLC has become a major turnaround. We are very excited that in just 2 years since we bought that bank, we have been able to double the balance sheet and double profitability. And I think more important, let me also recognize the excellent performance that we registered in Uganda. We increased their profitability last year from 600 million to 1.2 billion shillings. So if the subsidiaries continue with that trend, then we expect this year to be much better. And maybe it's at that point that I may answer one question on dividend payout. The reason why we haven't, would like you to consider, Mr. Kimani, a little bit balancing is because these subsidiaries, for them to continue to grow at that pace, 60, 70, 80%, they need to continue to be funded. If we don't fund them, they will not challenge Kenya. So that is one of the reasons why we retain a little bit, so as to be able to fund the subsidiaries, so as to unlock their full potential. I really liked the question on IFRS 9, and it came 3 times. This is International Financial Reporting Standards. Maybe just for shareholders to fully appreciate, in the past, we provided for loans that went bad. It's only when a loan went bad or stopped to be paid, we provided for it. But we are now required by law to provide every loan based on its probability of going bad. And probability is equal to NPL. Suggesting, for instance, for Equity Bank, with NPLs of about 6, would be expected to make a provision for every loan that we give of about 6%. That is a real challenge. And that is where adjustment, we said it will affect the bank. But for the first year, we were allowed to make provisions on existing loans. You make a judgmental decision based on your total loan book. We have a loan book of about 300 billion shillings. We look at it, analyze it, and say, what is the probability of any of these 300 billion shillings worth of loan going bad, and provide for it upfront. And that is what we are expected to do. We have done extensive assessment. We have got global analysts to come and look at probability, and I'm happy to say, Bwana Kimotho, that capital we talked about, 76 billion shillings, would be able to accommodate the adjustments without us reverting to shareholders. And hopefully by the end of the year, when the simulations will be done, we'll see the exact number. But I'm very confident that we are well prepared without us being impaired, and with our capital requirement and the capital ratios complying with the law. So the provisions for existing loans will be made against retained earnings. That is how the provision has been done. What is the bank doing about interest capping? As you all know, I took the same position that I still hold from day one. I've written severally to the government that interest capping, while it was well intended, it was not effected the right way, in the sense that if you invest in government treasury bills without risk, you earn more than when you lend at 14% effectively. And I said, we have failed to recognize banking is risk, and we lend people based on their risk. If you look at micro loans, which, and I'm really glad that you are very concerned about Wajiko, because that's my same concern. Because this is a bank that has built on the back of Wajiko. NPLs, or default rate, is 18%. So if your default rate for a whole segment of loans is 18, if you read at 14, you make losses at the gross level. However, we decided we are not going to abandon Wajiko. What we'll do is to train Wajiko to reduce her risk. And that is why we have trained 1.5 million small business owners, the entrepreneurs, so that we can reduce their risk, so that we continue the journey with them. Our growth is dependent on the growth of our SMEs. Chami, going back again to the same question, I also want to join you to applaud the board for rewarding Mary after 16 years of dedicated service. For shareholders who may not have the history of Mary, she helped the bank to raise its first capital in the year 2002 from Africa, when we surrendered 16% of the bank in exchange of $1.6 million. That was a lot of money, 120 million Kenya shillings. That was her first assignment. Then she helped the bank in 2004 to demutualize the building society convert and transform to a bank, a fully regulated bank. It was a legal process that required 14 amendments to the Building Societies Act, but we successfully had our leadership. Then 2006, listing the bank in the stock exchange. She led that strategy. And then the last big one was 2007, when we raised $185 million, or 11.4 billion shillings. The last time we raised capital. And that again, that's when we got Helios to invest. And after that, in 2008, started regional expansion. And I'm glad that the board has aligned her to that regional expansion and made her an executive director in charge of managing subsidiaries. I want to confirm to the board, having been the group director of strategy, she really understands what needs to be done. And if you look last year but one, subsidiaries contributed only 7% of the total profit. Last year they doubled from 7 to 14, and I guess this year she's aiming that the subsidiaries will contribute a minimum of 20, but she's saying she will contribute 25%. So she's now executing that responsibility, managing those subsidiaries to ensure, and will strengthen Kenya so as to make sure Kenya comes up to. And Mr. Chami, you were concerned about her secretary, Emma. Our secretary, Emma, has also now become not the secretary to strategy director, but the secretary to executive director. So they have gone together. She hasn't abandoned Emma. Is Emma in the room? Thank you very much. Going to Kemodo's question, thank you very much for your compliments on excellent performance. The elephant in the room, the interest capping, you are spot on. That is what has, if you look, that's what has crippled the banking industry. But it's not the banking industry, it's the economy. Our economy came from a growth rate of 5.9 to 4.8, and you can see it's because of the private sector lending. This law is not good for the country, it's not good for Wajiko, it's not good for anybody, because it is telling people to sell money at lower than the cost of money. So it will really never happen on a very serious note. Everybody can attempt to accommodate Wajiko, but it is better when you are given by your own light other than by accommodation. And that is the difference. We can keep on saying we'll work around it to accommodate Wajiko, but accommodation is not equal to earning your own light. So we'll continue to lobby the government. We are very excited that the president has made a commitment that the law will be really, looked into, preferably repealed before September, so that the economy can continue to grow again. The biggest problem we have in our country is the slowdown of the economy. And if you look at the main reason, is the private sector lending that has declined substantially. IFRS 9, as you said, will be fully compliant, and I've explained. The reserves are able to cope with it. We believe that with a ratio of capital, it will be slightly above 17. The simulation suggests it will be about 18. So we'll still have a buffer of 400 basis points, because the minimum is 14.5, and we should be around 18.4. So we still have a buffer of 400 basis points, or 4 percentage points. 97% of transaction being in the branch. What will you do with the branches? The branches, we are converting them as centers of excellence in supporting SMEs. And we are really focused. We helped our people to educate their children. We helped our people to improve their farms. We helped our people to start small businesses. We want to support our people to make those businesses multinationals with their headquarters in Kenya. So we want to make branches, centers of excellence, and we believe if really we succeed in making the SMEs to grow in this country, the branches will be more profitable. Doing SME and corporate banking when transaction banking are done under the mobile and agency platform. So we'll retain all our staff, we'll retrain them, they will do more diversified jobs like insurance, brokerage, investment bank, but we'll also see a lot of capacity building in our customers so that our customers can go to the next level. If we manage to get 12 million customers, double the size of their businesses, we would then quickly move from half a trillion to a trillion balance sheet bank. So that is the commitment, and you see a lot of logistic work being done in the branches. In terms of Wajiko, again, I want to confirm, we'll work with Wajiko, we'll invest substantially in Wajiko, but more importantly, want Wajiko to be given her freedom, to be given control and choice. Wajiko at the moment doesn't have choice. Her choice, her freedom, and her control has been taken from her by law. Equitel, page 49, you are spot on that it has moved from 65 to 54. It is not that it has reduced in volume, it is only that last year we introduced the equity app, the Easy app. And Easy app is targeted to people who don't have Equitel lines. And it's that growth, if you look, it's the market share that has been increased substantially by the app that makes the percentage contribution of Equitel. But in absolute terms, Equitel is still the most preferred channel. It processes approximately 880,000 transactions per day, and does process about 2 billion shillings per day. Those transactions, 800,000 worth 2 billion shillings. The app that was started last year is now processing between 550 and 600,000 transactions per day. That's the one that has given it a challenge. But it's new business that has come on board. And we hope to see the equity app and Equitel continue to perform. And I'm happy to say we have full confidence in the young MD, Jack, where are you? That is, we have now a young mid-30 MD who is driving that, and with the energy of the youth and the wisdom of the group management, we expect FinServ to be maybe one of the fastest growing company we have, and Equitel will continue to perform well. And the last one from Kemodo was increased dividend from 40% payout to 50%. I think it's the same that has been repeated by Mr. Kimani. The board, I'm sure, have had. But let me say the board is juggling a lot of balls in the air. The first one is, what do we do? Do we come back to you to say, DLC is growing too fast, it requires capital, or it is better we detain some and invest on your behalf? If you look at what has happened last year, when at the beginning of last year, equity share was selling at, or trading at, I think, 24 to 26 shillings. As we speak today, equity share is trading at 50 shillings. We can really appreciate that, yes, you can pay out everything out of retained earnings and retain the share price the same at 24, but you can retain some and increase the price of the share from 24 to 50. And if really one is pressed, then he can take one share and get the extra 50 shillings because the value of his shares has generally doubled. The value of equity shareholders' wealth has doubled during the year, and that is why we have overtaken even the second largest company to take the position of the second largest company in Nairobi Stock Exchange. Going to the questions, Kimani, I think the first one is exactly pay dividend immediately. I've consulted Mary, and Kimani, I think Mary wants a trade-off between you. The reason why she's able to pay dividend immediately at 2 is because she's the registrar. If she outsources registry, then she will require 30 days before the registrars are able to execute the resolution. If you give her authority, she says she will demonstrate efficiency of internal registry by paying your dividend today if it is being credited to your account in Equity Bank. I can see Kimani laughing, Mary. She says you retain, but you pay the dividend by this afternoon. So Kimani, you can ensure that you can call so that the children are prepared to be taken to school this afternoon. I think, as you said, Safari Park venue, you said this iconic building. You know, everybody has always thought KICC is the most convenient place for meetings because people come from different directions, Nakuru, Murang'a, Machakos, like my friend Nzao. But we have taken your feedback, so it will be considered. Esther, where is Esther? Who is in charge of organizing Esther? I'm sure you have heard the feedback from the shareholders. They would like a level ground, like the ballroom of Safari Park, so we would endeavor. Let me also say, Kimani, there is one challenge about date, the specific date of the AGM, because of the process of approval of accounts. We try as much as possible to fix the date as soon as we get the approval, but you can't know precisely which day the central bank will give you the approval so as to start giving the 21 days notice. So the date of AGM is not certain. We know we'll hold AGM next year around April, but we will not know which day it is until about 30 days away from that date. And that is where we always have a problem of venues. 30 days is a very short period for you to get a venue. I remember last year, we struggled for a month before we could get a venue. And that is why the AGM was delayed by a month. To get a venue in Nairobi for 1,500 shareholders is the biggest challenge. But we have heard you. We would like to sit together. You would like more comfortable, and you don't want to do any jogging in the name of an AGM. We hear you, and we'll do whatever it takes to make sure we meet. I'm sure our Director of Operations, Gerard, has heard about the ATMs, that the cash payouts are moving very fast because of the 12 million customers, and we need to reorganize our security operators because refilling ATMs require a lot of logistics because of security. But Mr. Kimani, that is why around the same place, if you remember, around that branch, we have appointed 15 agents. So next time you find the ATM not working, don't go home without the money. Just look on the right, there is an agent. On the left, there is an agent, and make sure you go home with some money. The good thing with the agents is we are supporting our customers. For every transaction they make, they share, they get a commission. On daily basis, we are now paying between 3 and 5 million shillings on daily basis to our 35,000 agents. So we are represent shared prosperity. When it is ATM, the transaction still comes to the bank, but we only pay you through dividend. You have to wait for the whole year. But if you get to transactions through an agent that day has earned a fee. And we want to support the people who supported us. We want them, we walk the journey together. And the policy we have adopted is called shared prosperity. It's the prosperity of the bank that we want to share. But again, we have heard you, we need the ATMs to be really looked. This next issue Kimani you raised was about fraud, and we agree with you. It's a major concern. It's not about equity. It's the whole banking industry. We are really I'm sure you saw like the one that was in the newspapers this week about Machakos. Somebody is moving from the bank. He's, as you said, described, and then he goes to report to the police station, and he's shocked. The people who took the money from him are the people he's reporting to, and they refuse to register. So you can see the bank doesn't even come anywhere in there. So it is a situation we have reported repeatedly. I've kept on writing to the CS Internal Security and the Commissioner of Police, and we hope they will continue. The way they dealt with Al-Shabaab, remember the way they were hitting us in town every day. I hope this is how this issue will be dealt with, and we'll scale it to the highest level if it is not acted on. Because it's a bad image, it's a bad brand, that uncertainty and security. Kimani, we listen to the auditors. We are happy you have appreciated, sorry, to shareholders. We are happy you have appreciated that the auditors are changed. I hope we have agreed about the registrar because of efficiency and dividend payout. Very good. I think I'm really appreciative that you appreciated the transparency that shareholders know. Although they pass a resolution board to determine fees, it's disclosed now in the audited account, including the salary that your CEO is paid by your board. And you can compare whether your board is paying your CEO as well, as so that you don't lose him to a competing bank. We hope now the checks and balances are put through by transparency. I think the last one is on split bonuses, special dividend. We have heard you. We'll continue to look at mathematics. But for those who may not have the history, I'm sure Kimani remember fondly the past days. Those who had the shares in year 2000, one share in 2000, today out of that one share, they hold 600 shares because of splits and bonuses. That was when we were growing extremely fast. And I'm looking at my colleague MDs of subsidiaries to take us back to the old days when we are doing splits and bonuses every 2 years. So hopefully we'll come back to the old days. But also, as a shareholder, kindly support us by evangelizing membership so that we move from 12 million. If we hit 18 million customers in the next 2 years, I'm certain we'll be able to, in between, to do 2 or 3 splits. It's all about size of the profit that we make. I really appreciate that the shareholders appreciate innovations. And it's good to let the shareholders know we are now ranked the best agency bank in the world. We are also rated the best mobile banking bank in the world. So we are leader in those two. But what is fulfilling for me is the interpretation that this has allowed banking now to reach the village. People no longer need to incur the cost of moving from the village to where the bank is. The bank has gone to the shopping center through the agency, but the bank has gone into somebody's pocket or heart through the mobile banking. And I want to encourage shareholders who are not using mobile banking and agency to trust them and believe in them. I lastly, Kimani, want to join you in commending the board of DLC and maybe and management of DLC for a very good showing in very trying place. It's a very fragile state, as we know, but they have really done well. They have moved from, we bought the bank when it was number 8, with now the 5th largest bank in DRC, and we encourage them in the next 3 years. We want to be among the top 3 banks. In Rwanda, we are now among the top 3 banks. In Uganda, I think we are number 6. We are prodding Uganda to come also to number 3, either this year or next year. So everybody is doing their very, very best. And in Kenya, we want to be assisted. We are very good. We are the largest market capitalization, but we want to be the largest in balance sheet. You have supported me for the 28 years I have served you. I really urge you to support me. After 28 years, I think it will be rewarding for Equity Bank to be the biggest bank in balance sheet. It can only happen if we all join the hands and mobilize the deposit and mobilize the customers, because the size of the bank is determined by the number of customers. Kimani, I hope you'll be my advocate. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, shareholders, for excellent questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mwangi, for your very comprehensive response to the issues that were raised by our esteemed investors. My esteemed investors, can I now request you to formally propose that the meeting hereby adopt the integrated report, audited financial statements, and directors' remuneration report for the year ended that 1st December 2017, together with the chairman's, directors, and auditors' reports thereon. That being the case, may I ask a shareholder to propose? Shareholder? There are 2. Thank you very much, Irungu Kimani. May I ask another shareholder to second the proposal? Okay, take it over there, that lady.
I'm Mary. I support. But even before I do that, please, why are you skipping with ladies? Don't you have equality in equity? You are giving only gentlemen, only men, only. We have been raising my hand since, but you can't, and you are even seeing me. You can't give me a chance. In every successful man, there is a woman. Who cooked tea for you in the morning? Why are you skipping us?
I'm sorry.
You know, at the end of the meal, the ladies pick bones. That's what is said in Kikuyu. But a woman would always have something to say, surely. Just give us first choices. Don't give Kina Owino, Kina Kuria, Kina Nani, Kina Sami, and others. We are awesome. We belong to this country. I want to thank God. This far, the Lord has taken us. We are not washed by the rain, by the flood, but we pray for those in disaster. Dear. The choir was singing here. It was wonderful singing. It was wonderful singing. You know, I'm saying this because I'm a chorister. I do sing even so old in my church. I like it. Kimuri choir there in Kikuyu. But my question is, please, we would like to be picking our lunch box, our gifts before we enter. Before that, because that squeezing of our mothers here, and men even don't give us respect out there. They push us. We don't like it. Why not give us when we enter? Because the computer has got the number. So even if we go all and you are left 10, the computer is showing the number. But please, let me ask. And again, being the top bank in the world, number 11 I wrote down, and yet giving us 2 shillings. I spent a lot of fare coming from my home. 2 shillings surely. Why not even 5 shillings? A lady here was saying she came from Muranga, very far away, spending 700 shillings to and fro to come here. Oh dear me. 700, she's saying she could even have cooked ugali and guashe there at home instead of coming, pushing for lunch, and even not even giving us a talk. Sometimes we are given 2 this lunch box and a gift voucher. Where's the gift? You want to give us a bag. Does it mean you are going down instead of rising up? I belong to Equity. I love Equity. Equity is my bank and I'll never leave Equity. But do us. Let us give us today, because tomorrow may not be ours. Some are very old here, and even death is not coming to those who are old, even now young and old. We can even be there. Let us follow the sun. Somebody sang that song, "Cause tomorrow may rain." Let us just give us what is good to us. And again, some 4 years ago, I lost my shares for KCB. I went as far as the office, but it is very hard to be let see our director there, and he is a very good man. Those other down there, ooh, they can't let us see the director to speak out. Try and check on the outside banks from Kikuyu, mostly Kikuyu. My shares of 1,000 shares of KCB. I wrote a letter. I want to go ahead, but I just withdrawn because I'm a Christian. I don't want to see my bank being said they are eating money.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you.
You are old. You are our fathers.
Thank you.
And we want to see good thing. Last year you gave us umbrella. Why didn't you give us umbrella? Don't you see the rain? Or even a raincoat. Ooh, the rain is falling.
Wow. Thank you very much. Give a warm clap for her. She has seconded the proposal. Thank you very much. Esther, you have taken note of the observations made by that esteemed investor. Thank you very much. I now put the resolution to the meeting. Those in favor, please raise up your hands. Those against, please raise your hands. I declare the resolution carried. I'll now turn to item 3 of the agenda to approve a first and final dividend for the year ended 31st December 2017 of Kenya shillings, 2 shillings, subject to withholding tax where applicable. The directors have recommended a dividend of 2 shillings per share, subject to the holding tax where applicable. May I have a shareholder to formally propose that this meeting hereby approves a dividend for the year ended that 1st December 2017 of Kenya shillings, 2 shillings per share, subject to withholding tax where applicable. May I have a shareholder to propose? Yes, please. Give it to the shareholder. That one. That one. Yeah.
Chair, thank you so much this morning. And before I propose, I want to tell Mary that what a man can do, a woman can do it better. So, you are there to stay, and we are coming. Secondly, I want to tell Dr. James Mwangi that you are always ahead, the best ahead of the rest. We affirm your work. Thank you for your great inspiration. You are an inspiration to the children who are young, and they'll aspire to be like you. Be assured of our unwavering support now and forever.
Thank you.
And to the directors and the staff, thank you for giving this company a touch of quality and a taste of excellence. I propose.
Thank you very much.
My name is Sally Chepkorir.
Thank you very much. May I have a shareholder to second the proposal?
My name is Alan Kahora. I second.
Thank you, Alan. I now put the resolution to the meeting. Those in favor, raise up your hands. Those against, I declare the resolution as carried. I now turn to item 4 of the agenda to confirm the remuneration of the directors for the year ended that 1st December 2007. May I have a shareholder to formally propose that the meeting hereby
My name is Rose Soresi from Kisumu. I propose.
I'm saying, sorry to say that, although you have proposed, dear shareholder, the details of the director's remuneration is in report page 85-87 of the integrated report and financial statement. Now that you have proposed of what I have just read, can I have another shareholder to second the proposal?
Thank you. My name is Samuel Nganga. I support.
Thank you. I now put the question. Those in favor, raise up your hands. Those against, raise up your hands. I declare the resolution carried. Let me now go to the next item of the agenda and requests that Professor Isaac Macharia comes here and conduct the first item A of item 5 of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In accordance with the Capital Markets Code of Corporate Governance, our chair, Dr. Peter Munga, retires and being eligible offers himself for re-election. May I ask for a shareholder to propose the re-election of Dr. Peter Munga? Yes. Give a mic to
Yes, down there.
I'm Benson Mwangi. I propose.
May I ask a shareholder to second that proposal? Yeah, okay.
where he had been working in a small counter about 10 feet. That was the time it was being called Equity Society. And today, I'm requesting the shareholders and the chairman to think big about that small shop where Equity Building Society and came to Equity Bank was born. He can put a small thing. Former President of America usually comes to Kogero and other people to see where the president was born. Our Equity was born there at Kagema in a small shop. Will you please, the directors and the shareholders, think big and think outside the box how we can construct put a structure where some other people globally will be coming and see where the Equity was born. Thank you, and I seconded the chairman.
Thank you very much. All those who are in favor of the election of Dr. Peter Munga, and all those who are against. Thank you very much, shareholders, for electing our chairman, and congratulations. I've just been reminded by Mary that the resolution to re-elect Dr. Peter Munga as the chairman of Equity Group Holdings has been carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much, esteemed shareholders, for the confidence that you have shown in my leadership for all the time that I have led the bank. Thank you very much for re-electing me to be your chairman for the coming year. I will now move to item B of 5. Mr. David Ansel, a director, having attained the age of 70 years, returns in terms of clause 2.5 of the Capital Market Code of Corporate Governance and Practices for issuance of securities to the public 2015, and offers himself for re-election. May I ask a shareholder to propose that David Ansel, a director who retires and offers himself, be re-elected? May I have a shareholder to propose? Yes, give it.
I propose, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you. May I ask another shareholder to second the proposal?
I propose. My name is J.T. Mbogua.
Thank you. I now put the resolution to the meeting. Those in favor, raise up your hands. Those against, raise up your hands. I declare the motion as carried. Let me turn to the next item of the agenda. And I will now turn to the election of Mary Wamai and ask her to stand. May I have a shareholder to formally propose that Mrs. Mary Wamai, having been appointed by the board as a director on 27th July 2017 and being eligible, retires and offers herself for election as a director in accordance with the section 132 of the Company Act number 17 of 2015. May I request a shareholder to propose that Miriamai be appointed a director. Take it over there.
Thank you. I propose.
Thank you very much. May I request another shareholder to second?
Thank you, Chair. I second.
What?
Wholeheartedly.
You proposed, eh? And seconded. I want a seconder. But you proposed. The proposal was there.
My name is Margaret. I proposed.
Okay, thank you, Margaret.
Chairman.
Okay, thank you, second.
Yes.
I now put the question. Those in favor? Those against? I declare the resolution as carried. Congratulations, Mary. You are now a director. These investors have a lot of confidence in you. Let me go to the next item of the agenda. And can you have it? Okay, I was looking for the CV, but fortunately, you can be able to read it on the screen, and I'll give you just a minute to read through. Is it on the screen? Or Mr. Vijay Gidimore? Or I'll ask Mary to read it for me. Mary?
Mr. Gidmore qualified as a lawyer from Clifford Chance in the UK in 1992. He returned to Kenya in 1993 and was responsible for establishing car and general operations in Uganda and Tanzania as executive director. He became the managing director of Car and General in 1996 and oversaw a complete restructuring of the company's revenue base, gradually introducing new product lines that included the pioneering of the introduction of three-wheelers and two-wheelers as taxis in East Africa. Mr. Gidumal has seen the company grow regionally with representation in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Seychelles, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Somalia. In 2017, Car and General entered a joint venture agreement with Cummins Incorporated to represent Cummins products in Eastern Africa. He has also seen Car and General expand its franchise representation that includes Doosan Construction Equipment, Kubota Tractors, Garmin GPS devices, Toyota forklifts, Cummins diesel generators, Briggs and Stratton power equipment, TVS and Suzuki motorcycles, Piaggio three-wheelers, Mercury outboard engines, Ingersoll Rand air compressors, motor lubricants, and MRF tires. The company has won a number of awards. It has been named Cummins Distributor of the Year, TVS Distributor of the Year, Piaggio Distributor of the Year, and also received Kenya Revenue Authority's Distinguished Taxpayer Award in the motorcycle registration category. He is an active member of the Young Presidents Association. He is past chairman, that is the Kenya chapter, and a regional board member. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Mr. Gilmore, having been appointed by the Board of Directors on 28th April 2017, and being eligible, retires and offers himself for appointment in accordance with section 132 of the Companies Act number 17 of 2015. May I have a shareholder to propose that Mr. Gidmore be appointed as a director?
My name is Richard Gare Kariabori from Karatina. I propose.
Thank you very much. It's hard and it's very clear. May I have another shareholder to second? Probably the lady over there.
My name is Ruth. My name is Ruth Moito. I propose.
Thank you. Well, second.
I second.
Thank you very much. I now put the resolution to the meeting. Those in favor, please raise up your hands. Those against? None. I declare the resolution carried. I'll now request Mary to give us the CV for Professor Isaac Macharia.
Professor Macharia holds a Master of Medicine in Gynecology, Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery from the University of Nairobi, and is a fellow of the College of Surgeons of East, Central and Southern Africa, COSESCA. He is a professor of ENT, head and neck surgery at the University of Nairobi, and has a depth of experience in the medical field for over 30 years. He's the East African Regional Advisor for CBM in ear and hearing care, as well as the He's the East African Regional Advisor for CBM in ear and hearing care, as well as being the Regional Secretary for Africa and the Middle East, International Federation of Otorhinolaryngological Societies. He's a past president of the Pan-African Federation of PAFOS. He is a member of the Starkey Hearing Foundation Global Initiative Advisory Board. Professor Macharia was the founder chairman of the Allergy Society of Kenya and is also the founder chairman of the Cochlear Implant Group of Kenya. He is the chairman of Savannah Informatics, Jadala Investments, and co-founder and chairman Otolaryngology Associations at Nairobi ENT Clinic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mary. May I have a shareholder, now that you have heard the CV of Professor Macharia, to formally propose that Professor Macharia, having been appointed by the board as a director on 1st March year 2017, and being eligible, retires and offers himself for appointment in accordance with section 102 of the Companies Act number 17 of 2015. May I have a proposal?
I'm Veronica Wagare from Nyeri, and I propose him to be appointed the director.
Very good, that's a proposal.
Joseph Waithaka, I propose. I second, please.
Thank you very much. We have a proposer and a seconder in Joseph Waithaka. May I have, I now put the resolution to the meeting. Those in favor, please raise up your hands. Those against, I declare the motion as carried. Now, item number 6, to appoint the following directors to continue to serve as members of the board audit committee. And let me ask those members to stand. Those present, are they there? Oh, they're appearing on the screen. That's Evelyn. That's I don't have to. She's a note director. We don't have to read their CV. That's Dennis Arunga. That's David Ansel. But one is present. Gidimo is here. May I have a shareholder to formally propose that Evelyn, who you saw there, be appointed to serve as a member of the audit committee? May I have a proposal?
I'm Peter Macharia, I propose.
May I have a seconder?
I'm Josephine, I second.
Thank you. May I put the resolution to the meeting? Those in favor? Those against? I declare the resolution as carried. Now we go to Dennis Arunga. May I have a shareholder to formally propose that Mr. Dennis Arunga is hereby appointed to continue serving as a member of the audit committee?
Alan Kahora, I propose.
May I have a seconder?
I am Rose Muirole, I second.
Thank you. I put the resolution to the meeting. Those in favor? Those against? I declare the resolution is carried. We now go to David Ansel. You read his, you can see and his CV there. May I have a shareholder to formally propose that David Ansel is hereby appointed to continue serving as a member of the audit committee? May I have a proposal?
My name is Isaac Zombe, and I propose.
May I have another shareholder to second?
Daniel Kimotho, second.
Daniel Kimotho, second. I now put the question. Those in favor? Those against? I declare the motion is carried. Mr. Gidimon, who is here with us, may I have a shareholder to formally propose that Mr. Gidimon is hereby appointed to continue to serve as a member of the audit committee? Thank you. May I have a seconder? A seconder? Yes?
I second, Mr. Chairman. My name is Irungu Kimani from Thika.
Thank you very much. You can sit down. I declare the motion as carried. Item number 7, to appoint and fix the remuneration of the auditors. Oh, sorry, a nomination. Those for Gidimore, let's up your hands. Those against, I declare the motion is carried. Thank you. May I go to item 7 of the agenda? May I have a shareholder to formally propose that PricewaterhouseCoopers, being eligible and having expressed their willingness, will continue in office in accordance with sections 721 of the Companies Act number 17 of 2015, and to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration. May I have a shareholder to propose? Yes? The lady over there.
Sally. Yes, Sally Chepkorir is my name.
Okay.
I propose.
You propose. May I have a shareholder to second?
Once again, JT Bogo, I second.
I put the question. Those in favor, put up your hand. Raise up your hands. Those against? None. I declare the resolution is carried. Let me now go to the next item of the agenda. Item number 8, to consider and found fit to approve the setup of Equity Bank Congo Employee Share Ownership Scheme. May I have a shareholder to formally propose that the setup of the Employee Share Ownership Scheme structure for Equity Bank Congo through the issuance of allotment of 125,371 ordinary shares in Equity Bank Congo to the ESOP shares amounting to 5% of the issued shares capital of the Equity Bank Congo is hereby approved. May I have a proposal?
Freddy Kulume from Makwena, shareholder, and do propose.
Thank you. May I have a shareholder to second the proposal? Give it to him.
Peter Muigai.
Peter Muigai. Thank you. Those in favor, raise up your hands. Those against, I declare the motion is carried. Item number 9. Any other business of which notice has been given, duly received. This is the last item of the agenda. Having received no notice of any other business to be transacted at this meeting, then there is no business can be no other business can be transacted at this meeting. Thank you. In conclusion, this then concludes the business of today's meeting, and I accordingly declare the meeting closed, and now ask Dr. James Mwangi to give a few remarks. Thank you.
I give it to him. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We deeply appreciate your continued leadership. On behalf of the management and staff of the group, I want to take this opportunity to thank our shareholders for coming up early this morning. Your interest, your participation in the AGMs gives us a lot of encouragement that you are truly interested in your investment. It inspires us when we see people coming from Kikuyu, people coming from Kagema. It gives us really the energy to continue, and we always look forward to seeing you every year. I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the shareholders to thank the board led by Dr. Peter Munga, the chairman of the various subsidiaries, for your continued guidance and your continued vision for where the bank would lead a place. On behalf of all of the shareholders and management, we really deeply appreciate your wise counsel. To the shareholders, the beginning of another year, and we really look forward to our next AGM next year. But I want to encourage you, when you see ATMs not working, just drop in the nearest branch and get them working. Let's all actively participate in managing of our institution. If you find a customer complaining because maybe a loan was not granted, highlight that to the branch manager. After all, it's our business. We all need to have our hearts on the deck. If we push together, we'll go very, very far. If we really want to go far, let's go together. Thank you very much for turning up today, and we wish you God's blessing. Thank you very much. And now I want to invite Bishop Kariuki to do the last prayer. Bishop Kariuki.
Thank you, Dr. James. Shall we pray? Our Heavenly Father, we want to thank you once again for the wonderful annual general meeting that you have given us today. We bless you for your continued favor and love and even care. And now as we come to the end, Lord, we pray that in the year 2018, you'll help us to witness the growth more than ever before, even as you have done in the past. We bless every one of us. Thank you for all the shareholders, how we pray that you continue blessing them. Thank you even for the directors. We also want to pray for them, that you continue giving them good health and blessing them. Thank you for the management and the staff. We also want to pray that God, you continue blessing